Hello and welcome to the Box Score Breakdown, presented to you by FanDuel. I'm your host, William Harris, aka William is Bill, here to recap the games of the night for Thursday. We only had a 4-game slate, nice and sweet, but we're going to cover the drops, ads, buy lows, news of the day for your every day-to-day fantasy NBA recap. Check us out Monday through Friday for your box score breakdown. Tim Woodson and I will have you covered. Now let's get straight to it like it's nothing to it. And remember, guys, we are live on X, on YouTube. So we would love to hear your feedback. I'll get to your questions at the end of the show. All right, like I said, 4-game slate. The first game, before I get into that, let me give you the news of the day, though. Actually, we had an injury, a big injury, and that is Domantas Sabonis. If you did not hear, he has suffered a partially torn meniscus in his left knee and will be reevaluated in 3 to 4 weeks. That sucks, obviously. He had missed the last 2 games. We knew he had some type of discomfort, but now we know officially he'll be reevaluated in 3 to 4 weeks. So hopefully, at the best, he'll be back in 4 weeks probably, but it could be 5 or 6 weeks before he's back. So he's had a rough start to the season, but let's just hope he gets better soon. And this season has been full of injuries. Every team is being hit. All of our fantasy teams are being demolished, but I mean, hopefully it'll ease up, but we'll see what happens. But like I said, the first game of the night, the Magic defeated the Clippers 129-101, a complete blowout. The Clippers are falling on their face after in the preseason, this was a team that was projected to be a top 5 team in the West, and they are 4-11. It's not looking good. And, you know, as we know, Kawhi has been out. He's only played 6 out of the 15 games. It's been a struggle. But for the Clippers, we know John Collins is in the starting lineup now because of Derrick Jones Jr.'s injury and Kawhi being out. And it was a slow start to the season for John Collins. We all were waiting for him to get that starting position so he could play better, get more opportunities, and he is not coming through. I don't know what's going on, if it's the scheme, the system, but John Collins only had 9 points and 4 boards with 1 steal and 1 block in 25 minutes. This is not your typical John Collins performance. When he plays, he's normally a top 50 fantasy prospect just about every year. Even when people are criticizing him about the things he doesn't do well and all of that, he's still top 50. 9-4 with 1 steal and 1 block. That's one of his better games. He's just not been clicking with the Clippers for some reason. We're just gonna, if you can be patient, but it's not looking great for John Collins. It's starting to be concerning, honestly. Ivica Zubac played 32 minutes, had 14 points, 19 rebounds. That's what you want to see. Unfortunately, he had no blocks, but 19 rebounds is ridiculous, especially in a blowout. I guess he was rebounding all of his own team shots because, you know, they got blown out. Terrible game. James Harden had 31 points in 31 minutes, 50% from the field, 8 for 16, had 8 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 steals. Tremendous performance. He did have 5 turnovers, but all around, you got to say that's a great game by James Harden. Chris Dunn started, did nothing. He had a steal, but it's not looking good. Kobe Sanders started again, and he's trending up, but in this game, in 28 minutes, he only had 6 points, 2 boards, and he had 2 blocks, but he had 5 turnovers as well. So that's not a performance we can really use. The 2 blocks, of course, we always love the blocks, but going 2 for 8 from the field, 5 turnovers, only 6 points. Kobe Sanders did not come through for us tonight, but he'll have another opportunity next game. He is a rookie, second-round rookie, so this is to be expected. A lot of times you see flash in the pants and you think, I have something here, and then they fall on their face the next game. That's just the trials of a rookie young player in the NBA finding his footing. Off the bench, Chris Paul played 23 minutes, only had 4 points, had 4 assists, 1 steal. But in 23 minutes, you want to see more than 4 points. Chris Paul, this has to be his last year, in my opinion. And I don't think he's going to finish the year with the Clippers. You got to remember, Kawhi is out. They're starting Chris Dunn and Kobe Sanders over Chris Paul. I mean, that's kind of not good. I mean, I don't. And it's one thing if you're winning, but they're losing. They're 4-11, 4-12. So I don't think Chris Paul is going to finish this year on the Clippers. And if he does, it's going to be his last year. Bogdanovich in 21 minutes had 6 points and 3 assists. Not much there. Kobe Brown had 9 points off the bench. Cam Christie finally got some run, had 6 points and 1 steal. His numbers were similar to Kobe Sanders, who played 16 more minutes than him. So I'm looking forward to seeing Cam Christie get more opportunities. We will see what happens with that. And they emptied the whole bench in this game, but it just was not a good performance by the Clippers. For the Magic, we know Paolo is still out, but Franz Wagner had 20 points, 6 boards, 3 assists, and 1 steal. Just solid all around. Every game, you can expect the same thing from Franz Wagner. Good performance, 20-6, 20-8. 25-7, that's Franz Wagner, very consistent player. Tristan Da Silva is the guy that stepped up for Paolo. He's in the starting lineup with 17 points, 8 boards, 1 assist. We want to see more counting stats, but just Da Silva is more of a perimeter player, so that's not really surprising that he doesn't have blocks or steals. But it is surprising that he had 8 rebounds, so that's a very good performance by Tristan Da Silva. Wendell Carter was 7-7 with 6 assists and a steal. Very surprising to see 6 assists from your center. And Desmond Bane, 15 points, 7 boards, 5 assists, and a steal. And Jalen Suggs with a huge performance of 23 points, 7 assists, 3 boards, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Incredible performance. That's the Jalen Suggs we all want to see, that we all know that he can be. Now, it did not stop Anthony Black from playing 29 minutes. He had 12 points, 4 boards, 4 assists, and 4 steals. So he was able to still flourish even with Suggs back. That is good to know. We know, like I said, Paolo is out. So it gives him a little more opportunity. So you can still trust Anthony Black while Paolo is back, while Paolo is still out. Jet Howard, 8 points off the bench. Goga Badatse, 10 points, 6 boards, 3 assists, and 2 steals. He always plays well when he gets the opportunity. If he could start on this team or any other team, he's going to be a top 100 guy. It's just he gets limited minutes when everyone's healthy. And I want to give Jonathan Isaac a little shout out. In 16 minutes off the bench, 9 points, 7 boards, and 2 blocks. So the way they are using him now is very safe, and he can clearly handle this without being injured. So it's probably going to stay like this. But like when you see 9 and 7 in 16 minutes, you automatically think, what if he played 30 minutes? But the thing is, he's not shown us that he can play 30 minutes. He normally injures himself in some form or fashion. So this will probably be the range for him every day until they are forced to do something different. All right, for the next game, the Grizzlies defeated the Kings in an even bigger blowout, 137-96. And as I mentioned, Sabonis is out. Zach LaVine had 26 points, 2 boards, 2 assists, and 1 steal. That's the offensive explosion we want to see from Zach LaVine, and it hasn't been there much this season. But 10 for 17 from the field, took the most shots. That's what we were looking for. So good performance by Zach LaVine. DeRozan, on the other hand, 7 points in 15 minutes with only 2 assists. I didn't see if he got hurt or not. He played the lowest minutes amongst starters, but that's ridiculous. That's not DeRozan-like. He is aging up, but he shouldn't be declining this rapidly. So we'll see if there was an injury with him in this one. Russell Westbrook, 11 points, 7 boards, 4 assists, 4 turnovers. Typical Russell Westbrook game at this point. Drew Eubanks started 9-5 with a steal and a block. And Precious Achiuwa, last game he went off, had a tremendous game. This game, 2 points, 5 boards, 2 assists. So he didn't shoot but 3 times. So he's 1 for 3 from the field. It's just he didn't get the rebounds and putbacks that you need to be fantasy relevant. Keegan Murray returned after his injury. He was finally able to get some run, and they played him 33 minutes. He had 11 points, 3 boards, and assist. I would have not played him 33 minutes right out of the gate, but, it's the Kings. Maxime Renard, the second-round pick, had 12 points, 3 boards, 1 assist, and 1 block. That is good to see. That's pretty much numbers better than Drew Eubanks and definitely better than Precious Achiuwa, who started above him. So if this team goes into a full rebuild or tank, expect Maxime Renard to get more minutes so they can see what they have in him. Schroeder, in 25 minutes, only had 3 points and 2 boards. He had 6 assists, but 3 turnovers and a block. But 3 points in 25 minutes is outrageous. I don't know how that happened. If he's sulking that he's not starting, he went 0 for 8 from the field. That killed you. Malik Monk was right there with him. 2 points, 2 boards, 2 assists, and 1 block in 14 minutes, 1 for 4 from the field. I mean, it's kind of just embarrassing at this point. Keon Ellis did have 5 points and a block. Nick Clifford, 8 points and 2 steals. But the Kings did not impress tonight, obviously. For Memphis, we had Santi Aldama with 29 huge points in the starting lineup, 5 boards, 3 assists, 2 blocks. Cedric Coward with 19 points, 4 boards, 4 assists. And Cedric Coward is a guy a lot of people are talking about in the discussion with fantasy. Last show, yesterday, I was asked, should I drop Cedric Coward for Danish Jenkins? And I said no, because Cedric Coward is trending up. And here we see he started. So he's been playing first man off the bench most of the season. He finally got the start in this one. We had no Ja, but still no Jaren Jackson Jr., but still he started over KCP. That's the main guy you're looking at. And so we will see what goes when everyone is back. But like I said, great performance by Cedric Coward, over 50% from the field. So he is a keep for sure. Jalen Wells in 19 minutes, 13 points, 2 assists, and 1 steal. Zach Edey is back in the lineup with 16 points, 4 boards, and 2 steals. It's very surprising that he only had 4 boards and he had no blocks, because he's in there for the double-digit rebounds. So it happens, though. And another question I got about a guy was Vince Williams Jr. His last game was tremendous. And I said, you can't really count on Vince Williams to do that consistently. And he definitely was not consistent tonight with only 4 points. He did have 15 assists, though. That's insane. 5 boards and 2 steals. So they had him at point guard. He's not a point guard. So I'm surprised he only had 3 turnovers. But 15 assists, you can't be too mad at that. But you see the points dropped off. But don't expect 15 assists every night. But this team does not really have a point guard when Ja is out, other than Cam Spencer, because their other 2 backups are injured. The other 3 backup point guards are injured. So the Grizzlies are in a conundrum. And it's funny that they are the team that blew out the other team, with all that being said. Omax Prosper, 11 points, 1 steal. Jock Landale, huge game off the bench with 21 points, 6 boards. I mentioned KCP, only 2 points, but he has 7 assists and a steal. And Cam Spencer, the other point guard, 7 points, 6 assists. So they threw around a lot of assists, but Memphis is 5-11. Sacramento 3-13. Bad teams. I want to thank you all for watching and listening again. I want to just remind you that we are live, and we are on YouTube and X right now. And if you're listening to us on the Fantasy NBA Today podcast feed, Doc and Brew will be back for their regular show after we break down these games of the night, 4 games that we have right now. So myself, Tim Woodson, always have you covered on the Box Score Breakdown. And if you're enjoying these episodes, please subscribe, show us some love, comment, follow us on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter X at William is Bill. All right, for the next game, the Sixers defeated the Bucks 123-114. And Paul George's second game back, much better than the first. No surprise there. 21 points, 5 boards, 3 assists, and 2 steals. You can't ask for much more than that, especially in your second game back. And I will say that was not the performance of the night for the Sixers. There was a huge explosion, and that was by one Tyrese Maxey. He had 54 points. You heard me right. Tyrese Maxey with 54 points, 9 assists, 5 rebounds, 3 steals, and 3 blocks. Tyrese Maxey. And he is the 4th ranked player in category fantasy right now. He is killing it this year. First team All NBA. Shut it down, Tyrese Maxey. Shut it down. 18 for 30 from the field, 6 for 15 from 3, 12 for 14 from the free throw line. Absolute monster game. He did have 5 turnovers, if you want to be nitpicky, but I mean, you can't even see that after you see 54 and 9. That's crazy. With 3 steals, 3 blocks, show him some love. BJ Eshcom, I don't know if you want to say he took a step back with Paul George back, but, he only had 12 points, but he did have 10 rebounds, 3 assists. So he still was able to contribute in a major way, played the third most minutes on the team at 38. But great game. Solid game from BJ Eshcom. Off the bench, we had Quentin Grimes, who played the second most minutes, weirdly enough. 14 points, 4 boards, 4 assists, 1 turnover. So Jared McCain only played 13 minutes. He had 8 points and 2 boards, but not much else. So we're just waiting on Embiid to come back. I will mention Drummond did start. He's been killing it lately. But tonight, only 3 points. He had 8 rebounds, though. He's in there for the boards and the blocks. He had 8 rebounds, 1 block. He did have a steal as well. So Drummond had a down game in this one, but we know he can bounce back as long as he has that opportunity. For Milwaukee, no Giannis, of course. We know he's injured. Let me start off with Ryan Rollins, the most improved player. Ryan Rollins in 40 minutes had 32 points, 14 assists, 6 rebounds, and a steal. This is an all-star lineup performance right here. 32 points for a guy that was deemed to be your second or possibly third string point guard coming into the season. I think we have to accept the fact that Ryan Rollins is here to stay. Rajon Rondo was on the podcast recently talking about how the team is trying to find his way. They lost their starting point guard, Kevin Porter Jr., and they've just been patching it up until he gets back. So, and Rajon is a coach with the Bucks, by the way. So he's not just an analyst. He's a coach with the Bucks, and he's high on Kevin Porter Jr., and he seems to be in the thought process that when Kevin Porter Jr. comes back, he's going to step back into his role as starting point guard because he kept saying our starting point guard is out. So it's still going to be interesting, but it's going to be hard to put Ryan Rollins on the bench if he's playing like this. They may have to move AJ Green to the bench and play Kevin Porter Jr. and Ryan Rollins together. Miles Turner had 14 and 10, no blocks, unfortunately. Kyle Kuzma, I told you he would step up in Giannis's absence. 17 points, 4 assists, 3 boards, and 2 steals with also a block. Bobby Portis stepped it up as well with 19 and 8 with 1 steal. And Gary Trent, 11 off the bench. Cole Anthony is a guy people were adding a lot. He did have 7 assists tonight, but he also had 4 turnovers, 5 points, and 4 boards. So it's not really there, not really usable for Cole Anthony. Next game, the Atlanta Hawks, and as we know, Trae Young is out. But Jalen Johnson, 26 points, 12 boards, 7 assists, and 1 steal. Definitely an all-star thus far. Unfortunately, the Hawks lost, but Jalen Johnson's having a great season. Zachary Richer, only 2 points and not much else in 21 minutes. 1 for 10 from the field. He is killing you in a bad way. Hopefully, he can turn it around. Porzingis played 16 points, 5 boards, 2 blocks. Good to see him always in the lineup, of course, but we know that's going to be up and down. Nikhil Alexander-Walker with the explosive, ridiculous 38-point performance, 4 boards, 5 assists, 3 blocks. That's a dynamite performance, especially from Nikhil Alexander-Walker. Someone had to do it. It was him. 8 for 10 from 3. He was on absolute fire. Dyson Daniels, 8 points, 6 boards, 5 assists, and 3 steals with 5 turnovers, unfortunately, but Dyson Daniels is there for the steals and the defensive presence. Onyeka Okongwu continues to play well, 15 and 7 with 5 assists. Luke Kennard, 10 points off the bench with 2 steals. Vic Krejci played 30 minutes, but didn't do hardly anything with that. I would love to see guys like Asa Newell get time for this team. You're starting Reece Shea, and he had 2 points in 21 minutes. Muhammad Gay in 4 minutes, he did nothing. So, play Asa Newell. Let's see what you got. For the Spurs, Wemby is out, of course. That's the theme, all the stars are out thus far in the season. So, hopefully they come back. But that led for De'Aaron Fox to have a huge 26-point performance with 9 assists, 5 boards, and 3 steals. Truly stepped it up. Julian Champagnie was the second leading starter. 20 points, 5 assists, 4 boards, and a block. Harrison Barnes was 16 and 5 with 2 assists. Devin Vassell, 15 and 5 with 3 assists, a steal and a block. Luke Kennard started, didn't do much at all. Off the bench, Keldon Johnson with a big 25-point performance, 7 boards, 2 assists, and a steal. And David Jones-Garcia got 19 minutes off the bench with 12, 5, and 6 with 3 steals. That is great quality performance by David Jones-Garcia. He showed in the preseason and summer league that he could do this. It's just rare that a guy that's undrafted, late drafted, gets to these type of opportunities. It normally takes a year or 2 or 3. So for him to get 19 minutes in a game that was only won by 9, David Jones-Garcia is a guy you're going to want to star or add to your watch list because that was impressive. And, they have Carter Bryant, who they drafted 14th. He only played 2 minutes, so they clearly don't think he's ready yet. And we're waiting on Dylan Harper to get back, of course. Sohan, only 8, 5, and 5. Olynyk did not much off the bench. And so that was your 4-game recap, guys. Let's see if we have any questions. And we do. I love when you guys ask questions. I appreciate it. All right. Question from Tasmanian Ty. Do I drop Edie for Queen? Close matchup this week. If you can get Queen, you kind of have to get Queen. Edie, you want Edie for blocks and rebounds. Queen is going to get points, rebounds, possibly assists, possibly a steal or 2, possibly a block or 2. And he started with Zion last game. So I don't think there's any concern for Queen's minutes. Queen is an ad for sure. It's amazing that he's out there for you to pick up. If you're concerned about Edie because you need those blocks, you need that center position with the rebounds, I'm sure there's someone else you can drop that's not as good as Edie. But if not, I would drop Edie for Queen if you can handle losing out on those blocks possibly. Because we got to remember, Edie is coming off an injury as well. I don't know if he's playing his full complement of minutes yet. So that might go up a little bit. But Queen is they traded a lot for Queen, so they're gonna play him. Thanks for the question, Tasmanian Ty. And Liger 344. Just watched my first Sacramento Kings game. It was terrible. Yes, it was a complete blowout. This was not the first game to watch if you're a fan. Sabonis was not there. They ended up playing a bunch of scrubs, and it was a blowout. So I'm sorry, Liger. But if it makes you feel any better, I'm in North Carolina, and I'm a Hornets fan. So it's not much better over here as well. But if you're not aware, guys, thanks for your questions. Thanks for listening. This is a SportsEthos production. Again, make sure you check out Fantasy NBA Today with Aaron Brewski and Dr. A. Love those guys. Subscribe. Go to SportsEthos.com. And the box score breakdown, again, was presented to you by FanDuel. Check out the YouTube, check out the Twitter, the X, and follow me at William Isbill on X. I appreciate you guys for listening. And until next time, I'm out of here. Peace.